think it's difficult to put words to something that you live, and I'm gonna have to work a little hard to figure that out. There are three really important things for me as a practitioner, but also as a human being. So the first one is connection, and I think we'll chat a little bit about connection in our next little piece as well. But connection is what humans are about. We are social beings, and we require others in order to be the best versions of ourselves. The problem is that the traditional narrative in sort of the EMS space, and the way that I experience it, is that the connection that we have with other people is not always a positive one. It's usually a judgmental, or a you're not good enough, or I'm a better paramedic, or sort of competitive rather than collaborative. And I refuse to act like that. So for me, it's about building connection with the person in the space that you find them, to figure out what they need and what you need from them. The second thing is that if we're going to be what we need to be for patients, we need to be the best versions of ourselves. And so we need to, first of all, be clinically sharp, capable, practical. We need to be physically healthy, mentally healthy, and emotionally healthy in order to engage with our patients appropriately. And I see connection as sort of the centerpiece of all of those things. And I see the probably the fastest way, but also the scariest and most dangerous way to build connection, is to show vulnerability. When you show vulnerability, and you create that connection, obviously it first of all has to be vulnerability that is reasonable for the time and the experience and for the person. It can't be sort of fake vulnerability, and we can figure out what that means just now. But when another human shows you who they are, it is the closest way or the fastest way to connect. And the only way that you shut down that connection is to say, you're not good enough, I'm better. But if you come at that with empathy, and you see things from another human's point of view, that vulnerability fosters incredible connection. And then I think the third thing that's really important to me is making sure that our patients are exposed to the safest possible environment that we can create for them. And sometimes, like, I know that today the environment is not as safe as it's going to be in 5 years' time, because I know that we're going to have learned a whole lot of stuff in the next 5 years, and then 5 years after that it'll be more even safer. But we cannot create safe spaces for patients if we can't create safe spaces for practitioners. And we can't create safe spaces for practitioners if we can't be vulnerable and connect. And so for me, those things are all sort of tied up in